In what altitude? For the next time I need. Thanks very much.
Controllers here at Goddard Space Flight Center, approaching the opening of the release window.
Columbia, we see a good deploy.
No, good deploy. Congratulations. Great job on deploying Legios.
Houston Discovery, got a good grab on the part.
Copy that. Great job, Steve.
Simple flashing lights go through the optic nerve up into the brain, and we can literally track these well into the brain. There are a number of other items that we have on board, but all of these are aimed at giving us a better understanding of the way weightlessness is affecting the nervous system.
Scientists are looking very carefully at the reasons why astronauts have difficulty sleeping on orbit. This research, in addition, could prove very helpful to people on Earth who suffer from sleep disorders. On Neurolab, crew members are acting both as operators and subjects of this rotating chair, which is designed to stimulate the vestibular system. These may also have an Earth application in that they may help scientists design more effective rehabilitation procedures for patients who have severe inner ear diseases.
Now in the Space Hab module, which is in Discovery's payload bay, with Japanese Space Agency astronaut Chiaki Mukai in the foreground, and behind her, European Space Agency astronaut Pedro Duque. And he is joined now in the Space Hab module by Mission Specialist number 2, Scott Parazinski.
We've got it, and we're in the process of putting it in the FSF.
Outstanding. The best procedure that we've come up with is to use the flight water.
Okay, I got my little grubby hands on it. Now you just kind of let me take it where I want it. All right, sure.
For Houston, Dan, do you have the LSAT in sight?
Roger, we sure do, and it's right under crosshairs. All guys are grip? Yes, sir. Houston, I think we got a satellite.
Houston, we show vestibule pressurization complete. Please coordinate with the Mir crew for the leak check.
Houston Endeavor, we have captured target.
cut out a bit. Could you repeat those numbers?
Yeah, 415-433-608 and 4203.
Copy that. Thanks. Those are good numbers. Appreciate it.
Here we are in the cupola of the International Space Station, where we can get a great view at the whole bottom of Space Station,
And
which
we
of course
are
includes
re-enabled to
a wonderful
check
view
the intel
of Atlantis.
It does.
Atlantis. We have wheel stop.
Hi, I'm Carol Scott, and I help astronauts get to the International Space Station. And this is Ask NASA.
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
So Launch America is all about utilizing our commercial companies to be able to launch astronauts to the International Space Station from America's soil on American-made rockets. So this is a unique partnership that the government has formed with the commercial partners. We are leading and guiding them. We have provided SpaceX and Boeing. We've given them some requirements, and including where they've got to meet design and construction standards. Oh, there's tons and tons and tons of innovation going on. And the way that we're doing this allows the partners to be able to innovate even more. They're able to get that performance from some new technologies that they have on board. All those degrees of freedom are part of this commercial partnership, and it's awesome. So this is a historic launch because this is the first time that we've ever launched utilizing the commercial partners. We're buying a seat for astronauts. And so this is new. Just like if you were trying to buy a seat on an airline, this is going to allow for a lot more access to space from other commercial partners, from other maybe potential tourism, and then in future generations, it'll be available to a lot more folks, just like you and I.
My name is Rachel, and I am going to be a fifth grader next year. So what can my generation expect for Launch America?
So Ben, back in the 1920s and 1930s, the government transferred how we move mail. And that's how we got the airline industry started. And so this will be a very similar path with commercial space. You're going to see a huge economic movement by NASA being able to transfer all this information to the commercial partners and letting them innovate to meet their business needs. And eventually they're going to take additional passengers, just like the airlines did back then, additional passengers, and you will be able to go to space. You are going to see human launches happening quite a bit here on the Space Coast. We want to rotate every 6 months, having astronauts crews go up to the International Space Station. NASA still has a team of astronauts, but we have the capability to have commercial astronauts on board. So if, for instance, if you looked at Boeing has Chris Ferguson, who was the last shuttle commander. He is one of their astronauts who will be taking the crew up in their CST-100 to the space station. So we can accommodate both NASA astronauts and commercial astronauts. And I believe you'll see a growing field of commercial astronauts very soon. Future missions are going to be revolutionized by this process here. We're going to be able to get more people up on space station. We're going to get it to full capacity of personnel. And this will allow us to get more research done on the space station, getting more science, which will also help us here on Earth. With industry helping us get our astronauts to the International Space Station, NASA can focus on getting our first woman and the next man to the moon. We are absolutely using the commercial partners to be able to help us reach the moon. So they're going to be helping us with our human lander systems and being able to take cargo and supplies to the moon surface, and that'll be ready for our crews to be able to use. So the hardest part of going to space, there's several different sections of it. If you work ground systems, it's all about launching, right? But then you've got to be able to go through all the dynamic environments and being able to actually get into orbit. And then actually you've got to go make it to your destination. So you've got to have all your guidance systems ready to take you where you want to go. And then you've got to live in space, right? But then you've got to be able to return them safely, when they're ready to come back from being on station.
Do you have a question for NASA? Send your questions to our experts on Twitter using hashtag AskNASA.
Welcome aboard NASA Tours. My name is George Herman. We'd like to bid you a warm welcome to the John F. Kennedy Space Center. During our tour today, we'll have recorded commentary, and at times I'll stop the tape to answer any questions you might have. For those of you with a camera, anything you see you may photograph. Now, smoking is not permitted on our bus, so let's just settle back and relax, and we'll begin our trip with the Western world's first spaceport. Cape Kennedy, formerly called Cape Canaveral, was selected as a site for testing ballistic missiles, and later as our nation's first spaceport. As our space program grew, the site was extended to include Merritt Island. One of the reasons this was an ideal site is that the first stage of a rocket doesn't go high enough to go into orbit, and when it falls back to Earth, we'd rather it fall back in the ocean than over inhabited areas. Another reason is, from this point, we can take advantage of the Earth's rotation in achieving orbit, and also the islands stretching southeastward from the Cape were a ready-made chain of stations for our tracking network. Here at Merritt Island, there are more than 88,000 acres of land, of which 3,000 acres are orange groves and 39,000 acres have been left as wildlife preserves. We have wild boar, armadillos, alligators, 13 bald eagles' nests, and more than 200 separate species of birds, and even one reporting of a panther. The long white building on the right is a manned spacecraft operations building. Here is where we receive and check out the Apollo spacecraft and the lunar modules. And if you ladies think you keep your house clean, well, you should see the inside of this building. The walls, the ceiling, and even the floor is painted white, and they never stop vacuum sweeping. If you're just entering the room, you can wear regular clothes. But before you can go near one of the spacecraft, you have to put on white gloves and a special lint-free gown, like a surgeon would wear in an operating room. They even wash the air that goes inside the spacecraft.
97.2 microns.
Okay, good. In other buildings, they assemble the scientific, communication, and weather satellites, and the Surveyor spacecraft. For you folks who don't know what a Surveyor is, that's an unmanned vehicle, and we've already soft-landed 5 on the moon. You've seen the pictures they send back. The last 2 even had claws which dug at the surface, scooped up the soil, and then sent a message back to Earth to tell what kind of soil it was. One reason for all of this is to make sure when our astronauts get to the moon, they got a pretty good idea of what to expect. While all of this is going on, the astronauts are practicing every detail of the flight. To help them do this, they have a trainer that is just like a real spacecraft, where they can simulate everything from the actual blast-off, complete with sound effects, to a docking in space.
Key started, and no P11. Okay. T-Mon, go check that. Roger. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, lift off, clock started. Roll commence.
Roger.
Engines tracking.
Roger.
Roll complete.
Roger. Say again.
No strain, let it go.
Roger. Rate change.
Roger, rate change, and we're venting.
Pressure's decreasing.
1 minute.
Hey, on stealth, RCS command. Command module RCS propellants on.
Very good.
Roger, switching.
How far do you think that building is? Anyone like to take a guess?
1 mile?
Anybody else?
Closer to 2 miles.
1.5 miles?
That's the vehicle assembly building, and from here it's 5 miles away. Now we're going inside and have a brief rundown on what takes place inside the building. The size of this structure, folks, is again deceptive because we don't have much on our flat terrain to which we can compare it. The best way I know to get the full impression of its height is once you get off of this bus, get your feet firmly planted on the ground, just lean your head back and look straight up. Every once in a while, we'll have someone from New York to remind us that the Empire State Building is just a little bit taller than this. This we have no quarrel with. The Empire State Building about 2 times as high. However, if we cut the Empire State Building up, we could get nearly 4.5 Empire State Buildings in the walls of this one.
How much did it cost?
$160 million, ma'am. The Saturn V rockets you see in this building are not manufactured here. They're made in many different parts of the country, California, Louisiana, Alabama, and brought here by barge in some of the biggest cargo airplanes in the world. Now that you've seen the size of some of our rockets, you can understand why we must have a big building to put them together. 4 rockets, each 36 stories tall, can be assembled here at one time. When this building was under construction, clouds actually formed under the roof and it rained inside. The giant fans have been installed that keep the air moving so this can't happen. Once all the individual stages are checked out, they're moved into place with an overhead crane. The Apollo Saturn rocket consists of 5 sections, each stacked on top of the other. The main booster, the intermediate stages, and finally the payload that contains the spacecraft that will orbit the moon and the lunar module. It will take 2 men down to the surface and then bring them back again.